today. I'm Eli, I'm the CEO of StartupLink.com. It's a global startup ecosystem app. I'm going to tell you about this very, very soon. And let me present Ben Washington, who is with me today, actually. Ben, maybe you can present yourself. Let me just upgrade you to a panelist. Actually, Ben is with me currently in this. So maybe Ben, you want to do an intro here?
Can everybody hear me?
Now they can. Go for it.
All right. Is this my microphone? Is it go through you?
Go for it.
Okay. Hi there. My name is Ben, and yeah, I recently won, actually our pitch, recently won a hackathon. It was in Budapest, but I wouldn't say that like I got my skills from there. I just really enjoy marketing. I've built my own online business, and that's doubled every year for the last 3 years. And yeah, I just enjoy marketing, and I enjoy teaching and enjoy learning. So this is why Eli thought I would be a good fit. My favorite types of marketing: direct mail, email marketing, and yeah, I'm also like heavily into like SEO and social media as well for my own business. But I'd like to, yeah. And as I just like to remind you that what Eli said at the beginning, like it's good to have thick skin. We're only going to be tearing down your project. It's not you personally. So just keep that in the back of your mind as well.
Super. Okay, so switching back here, and I have to say that I've witnessed Ben's business develop for 3 years now. It's amazing what he achieved with no investors, just scaling a powerful business with a lot of clients. Absolutely inspiring. So hopefully a lot of us, including myself, can reach this position. Hopefully we can get as many tips as possible from Ben and from you as well in the chat. So before we begin, let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing. I'm working on StartupLink.com. It's a global startup ecosystem map and a research center. I'm going to quickly try to share it with you. The idea over there, what I want to say about the most important things in Startup Link is actually that we research startup ecosystems. And that means that we're on a holy quest to actually tell you where are the best locations to start your own business. There is a great importance of selecting well the business that you're working on. The location that you work in. The investors are there, the clients are there, and a lot of us startup founders are not really aware of how critical it is to choose the location. Your location is going to influence your success. And I stress it again, your location is going to influence your success. You're not disconnected from all the opportunities around you. So this is Startup Link. You can add your startup for free on the map. And the interesting part probably for you is to go down, scroll down. Over here, you have leaderboards of 1,000 cities and 100 countries. Those leaderboards are used by dozens of governments, which are our clients. Hundreds of magazines have featured them. It's a very good quality algorithm. You can trust it. So let's say if you're, for example, currently in the United Kingdom and you only have the option to travel to United Kingdom, over here, you're going to see a list of, you can filter by the country that will basically show you all the startups that are, all the cities that are in United Kingdom. So let's say if you know that you don't want to go to London, here you know that Manchester is a great place to go. And if you can't go to Manchester, go to Newcastle, but don't go to Leeds. So the idea is you can make a lot of decisions based on this, and this will greatly influence your business if you pick the right ecosystem. So it's something to say. You can register again on the map for free. Every startup you add is going to give a little bit more boost to your city and country in the next rankings, the next time we do the rankings. And I'm just going to share a few links with you about some specific things before we move on. And again, before we're moving on to Brooke, you're going to be the first one. Bartel, you're going to be the second one. And I see that Jeremy might be... okay, Jeremy, you're going to be third, okay? So you have enough time to practice and see how it's your first time pitching, so you can see how Brooke and Bartel are doing. Good, so we have 3 people pitching, and let me just share a few links with you on the chat, and let me just explain what are those links. The first link is startuplink.com, where you can register a startup for free and also look at the ranking table. Second link is a Telegram channel that we have to stay in touch. There are 1,500 people in this Telegram channel. Feel free, we have nice discussions there. The third link is a City Partners page, where we're actually teaming up with one organization per city on promoting them as a leader of the ecosystem. We do a lot of things. We promote them on the map, on the reports, on our communities. So it's a really nice opportunity to get a lot of traction and a lot of validation and branding benefits as a city partner. This is the third link. Fourth link is our meetups. We have about 90 meetups. We organize coffee shop weekend events. So feel free to join us. You're going to see your city there, and you're going to see when is the next Starbucks meetup. If you feel like organizing one, just send us a message in the group, and we'll be happy for you to lead it. The fourth lead is the pitching event, and then after that we have 3 offers for you. Just before we start today, Brooke, get ready. You have about 30 seconds more. The first link is from SEM Rush. They're giving our members a special model for free for 1 year, and this is basically a secret deal. So it's absolutely great for market analysis, research your competition, research your niche, and so on. Great offer. The second one is from Bluehost. This is an affiliate link for hosting. Has savings for you, and also a little bit of a price for us. And the fourth link, and we're going to end it at this link, is WeWork. WeWork is offering our members up to 15% discount and a free tour. So you can go to this landing page and get it. Currently, Ben and myself are in WeWork in Warsaw. So that's absolutely, we practice what we preach, and we love WeWork. And that's it. We're ready to start. Really exciting to start, and let me, Brooke, you're going to go first. So hopefully, let me also promote while we're at it. I'm going to promote Ben to have his own. So Ben, I'm promoting you to a panelist. Let's see if it works on your phone. And Bartel, I'm also promoting you. Okay, Ben, try saying something so we know that. Can people, Ben, you're on mute. You're on mute, and Bartel, I'm also gonna promote you to a panelist, and you're gonna go first. So Ben, try to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I've taken myself off.
Super, now I can hear you. Excelente. And Bartel, let's see if we can see you and hear you. Okay, so Bartel, I think you're here. Yeah, we can see you, super, but you're also on mute. So try to, yeah.
There we go.
Excellent. Okay, where are you coming from?
So shall I start? Because I thought that.
Yeah, you're gonna start, but where are you calling from?
Yeah, so I'm from the Netherlands, near
Nice.
Amsterdam.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's quite close. I think 20 minutes from Amsterdam.
That's great. Super. So do you want to share a presentation with us?
Yeah, that's fine as well. I think Brooke would start, right? What I understand from.
Yeah, Bartel, I actually accidentally upgraded you. But yeah, maybe you can start and Brooke can go second. I don't think he's good. Excellent.
That's fine as well. So let me share my screen. Let's see. Choose virtual background. See how it's going to work out.
So you have, wait, Ben, I actually have an echo. I don't know why. Why should I have an echo? Because you're unmuted. Okay. Yeah, got you. Okay, great. So now we should not have an echo. And Bartel, if you want to share, there is a share screen button. And Brooke, you're going to go second. My apologies. We can see your screen. So yeah, good luck. Go for it.
Yeah, I can see you as well. Great. So yes, I'm from the Netherlands. I'm a software developer, engineer, and entrepreneur. And I'm working for a year now on this project. It's called Saving. And what we do is we provide digital financial infrastructure for groups to lend money in second and third world countries. Is everybody able to hear me? Yeah? Okay, great. Then I continue. So the basic problem what we try to solve is that in Africa, in South America and Asia, almost I think 80% of the entrepreneurs have a really hard time getting financed. Getting microcredit or microfinance is the general term. And the problem is that these people don't have any collateral. They don't have any land. They don't really own big shops, and they're not officially registered. And that's, I think, it's more than half of all the entrepreneurs in the world are living in this situation. So they do have sometimes access to capital, but that's really expensive. So sometimes it's even the percent per day which they pay on interest is really high, or 37, I think 42% average interest per year. So that's quite high. So you see that this problem is there for the entrepreneurs, but also for the microfinancing institutions, who are the institutions who provide the credit. They have the problem that they have this only basically one model to do it, and that's providing credit not to an individual, but to a group of people. And this group of people, to manage that group is really expensive. That's what they generally do. The microfinance institutions, they have a really high cost because of the touch. It's a weekly meetings they do, all these groups that happens all over the world. So for example, now we operate in Kenya. 90% of the Kenyans are within groups already formed, like table banks, they're called. And the MFIs really struggle to keep up on scale, but also managing everything. And there's a really high interest rate because of the high touch element. So this problem, we thought let's build an infrastructure which can digitize the process, as there's none, and there's all over the world MFIs working with this group model. So we as Savvy provide digital infrastructure that facilitates lending and providing affordable capital for these entrepreneurs. So basically what we do, we form just in WhatsApp, you form a group, but it's a finance group. So people, you don't lend, you don't give money to an individual, or basically you do give money to an individual, but what happens if that person is not capable of returning, then the other people within the group are responsible for repaying that loan. And it's really basic model, but we developed a digital product where you see the first digital group loans product, where you have enrollment, and we check the members, we see if they're capable of enrolling in the groups, and if they have a credit score, and do verification and monitoring of the group. We have a gamified score, so we incentivize people for good behavior, which is really helpful. So if you save, you can get some points. If you're capable of just all kinds of actions, we make sure you get rewarded for those different actions. And it works out really well. We have some really fun experiences on that, some good learnings. It takes a bit too much time to explain, but we'll go into that later. So basic infrastructure is not only a financial transaction that can happen from a wallet. So you have an individual wallet and you have a group wallet. We don't only facilitate transaction, but also a loan infrastructure. So instead of that, you say here you have a Coke, you say, okay, here you've got a Coke, but I won't have it back in a month or whatever. And that infrastructure is what we built to enable the groups to work and to get loans from these organizations. So what we value, so because of this model is really, there's much less touch needed. So much less people being involved in managing these groups. The interest rates can be dramatically lower. So from 40%, we hope to go back to 8 or 9%, which is quite a dramatic step. So transaction costs will be lower because the wallets, we manage our own wallets as well, so they don't have to go through the general, really expensive financial infrastructure. And we have really good balance between tech and touch. And this gives the organization we work with now, we start working with good incentive to use our product. So the market is quite big. So in Kenya only, where we're now piloting, we see that there are 750 million being in microfinance in 65 MFIs, so the microfinancing institutions. But all over the world, you see that there is even 100 billion being managed, and of that money, around 86% is within groups. So groups is really a big part. Group finance is really a big part, but it's just all offline business, and we're trying to do the digital. The competition, there are competitors in individual lending, and in core banking, it's possible to manage groups, but there's no infrastructure to the group itself. So it's just a core banking system like your bank uses for you, but there's no really an app or any infrastructure on top which manages the group. That's what we offer. So there's a difference. We have a business model where we charge up to 4%. Instead of transaction fee, we have a fee per loan. And yeah, so that's what we charge on the partners who provide their credit to our platform. So we just started off in January. We're now with 4, having a great time developing the software. That's my part, and some others, 2 people locally, and another guy here in the Netherlands. So that was a short one, I hope. I'm not sure I didn't cut the time, but if there's any questions or any feedback, we would love to hear from you.
Hi there. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What was your name again? Sorry, I lost that.
Sorry, what was your question?
What's your name? Bartel.
Bartel, yeah, it's Bart with EL.
Gotcha. Okay, Bartel. And you're pitching to investors, right? And you're looking for capital.
Yeah, that's right.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, it took me a while until I fully got to grips with what you were pitching. Yeah. And the reason it took a while is because I didn't hear like an elevator pitch, you know. What I wanted to hear is something like, we help African entrepreneurs by lowering their interest rates by 80%. Yeah, just something like that. That it's got figures in, and I can instantly tell what this is all about. Yeah, it took a while. So that was the first thing. Also, in marketing, we say everybody is listening to WIFM radio station, which basically is like everybody's got this thought process in their mind, like what's in it for me? Where's the benefit for me in listening to this pitch? You know, so I couldn't think of anything immediately, but you want to give the investors sort of like a real hard-hitting, clear, what's in it for me? What do I get, you know, from this? Am I going to get juicy returns? Has this company been growing at 20% for the last 2 years? You know, if you can give them a chance, sort of like, this is an opportunity, and you've got traction already, then that'll help a lot. So that was the first thing.
Okay.
Third thing is a story. Yeah. Because if you can tell anybody who's listening a story, it's much more compelling. That's the word. It's more compelling. I'm going to get drawn in, and I'm going to be sticking around, and I'm going to be listening. So a story that came to mind when I was listening to your pitch would be something like, so you've just said your elevator pitch, and it's sort of like, we help African entrepreneurs lower their interest rates by 80%. And in the process, we reduced 60% of the time needed to grant a loan. Before I get into how we do this, let me just tell you a quick story about David. He's a farmer in Kenya who wanted to start growing more corn in his fields. The only way you could do this was with microfinancing. But the microfinancing was taking too long to process because there's a lot of bureaucracy and there's a lot of time involved to do this. However, the next season, when David wanted to do it, he didn't lose the opportunity this time. He didn't miss this opportunity because the MFI gave him money had it processed within 5 days, and he could buy the seeds and he could plant his crop. And this is what we're all about. We're all about speeding up business, speeding up development, and just putting the right money in the right hands as fast as possible, and getting a better deal for these African farmers or something like that. You know, just a story. If you can get in contact with any of your people who are loaning money and who've benefited from your service, I think that'd be a massive boost. Just moving on quickly now through the other one, through my other points. When you told about the gamified, This is another sort of like focusing on the features. If you could tell me a story about gamified, if you just sort of, you could say something like, yeah, David's group now are all pretty much addicted because of our gamified technology. And as you can see, and then maybe show like David's group and they're all competing to get the best score or some kind of story like that, you know?
Yeah.
But also I noticed as well in your presentation that it was a lot features based, and this is what a lot of like engineers and developers do, like focus all on the features. And really what you need to be doing is sort of like selling the benefits, you know, pushing the benefits to the investor and to the end user. So in this case, it's like we're going to get 4% of every single deal that goes through Africa, and we're going to help them. We're going to speed up things, or we can lower interest rates by 80% for African farmers or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think, if you could just more stories and more benefits, I think would definitely help your presentation. And the groups, I didn't really get that. Maybe I should have asked you at the beginning, but the groups is sort of like a group of farmers who want to loan money from an MFI.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, all kinds of different groups. So it can be farmers, can be people who are selling in retail stores, cafe members, they're quite wide. Can be investors, just,
Okay, and they borrow money collectively together?
Yeah, so or they borrow money collectively, or they have money themselves, which they lend out with the group. These are the two main groups.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, that's for you. It's probably crystal clear because you do this day in, day out. But for new people, it's a bit unclear. So I think it'd really benefit if you could, or in fact, if you're limited for time, just push that out of the presentation because it's kind of confusing, and I don't think it adds that much. Or either expand it and just make it really, really clear. But I thought it's a really interesting project, that's a really interesting product. And so you've scored some investment already, is that right?
Yeah, so we have a small investment, but this is more like a fund, which provides some capital to start. And we have two banks locally in Kenya now, which are our partners, which say that they had the pain of organizing the groups and managing it. So,
well, maybe if you could.
And we work together in the Netherlands with Oikop Credits. It's a really big bank who provides credit to these companies worldwide as well.
Interesting. Yeah, if you can get on the telephone and talk to some of those bank people in Kenya and just ask for an interview and say, look, can you tell me about an instance where you couldn't get the capital out because you didn't have our software? You know, if you can talk to them and get like a real use case, and the stories sell and they grip and they'll help you demonstrate what your product does much better than a PowerPoint, much better than a presentation if you can tell the story there, But I think it sounds like a real cool project.
Yeah, something that's quite difficult sometimes if you make software, right? To do something that really influences lives. This is really something that changes the lives of the farmers who work.
This goes in your favor, definitely. Let me just Ben, if you can mute yourself because there is an echo. Good. So thanks for the feedback, and let's turn to the chat. A second. I'm gonna mute Ben for a second. They were on the phone, so it's a complicated thing to mute. Good. So I'm just gonna tell you that it was a good presentation, and let's turn to the chat now for extra feedback from everyone. So Bartel is kind of counting on your feedback, like the collective brain. It's a really interesting project. So I think exactly, Bartel, what Ben told you, it's in your favor that there is so much impact here that you're probably going to get a lot of attention that other projects are not getting, which is good. So for Oma, I'm just gonna read a few things over here. Oma is basically saying, how do you form the loan group? So this was a little bit of a mystery. So there's no need to answer that now. But the idea is that basically that was maybe a little bit a mystery in a way. What's going on with those groups? Mark is saying that this is good presentation and great feedback. So kudos to Ben. And I think that I will just reflect on what Ben said, that it was a little bit hard to understand what it is. So if you simplify it and kind of give those punchlines of, we help do X, Y, Z. This is exactly what it is. Then you have a comment also from the end, that says that the story, just like Ben said, was missing. So if you kind of make it clear from the beginning, you gave a very long background story, but if you kind of make it clear from the beginning, what is the pain, what is the solution, and how does it connect to people? Because you're doing a people's business. So Lintia is saying that they feel like there is an angle of story that they wanted to hear about the human aspect, and they were not interested to listen when they heard finance. You kind of lost them in a way, so it's important to say, look, the interest rates are super high and whatever, but going deeper into it, maybe you can just explain everything with a story. Exactly what Lintia is saying, a story with empathy would have grabbed their attention. Your investors or whoever you're trying to get now might not be that much into finance. They might even invest in it just because of this angle. So if you do what Lintia is saying, a story with empathy, you would probably get them in a way. Moving on to comments from Eileen Wiebel, and she's saying that this is a great project. And she knows people from Singapore who are trying to especially measure good character among the loan takers. So sounds like a great niche. So sounds like you're really on a very interesting path, and it's a very high impact project. So congrats on this. Great. So I think that we're pretty much we closed everything. So just keep on going, building.
Thanks a lot, everyone, for the feedback. It's really helpful, and the story part I really understand. So I think maybe we can come back one day and redo it with a better story.
I'd love to have you back. Super. So thanks. Thanks a lot. Super. So moving on to let me just see who is our next. Our next person, that would be probably, let me see. Yeah, Brooke, you're next. So, but actually, I've made Ben a host. Ben, can you put me on a host again? Let me just quickly, because I actually had internet problems. So just a second. I'm gonna quickly make myself a host again. Excellent. And Brooke, I'm going to promote you to a panelist. So hope you're ready. Let's see. So Bartel, thanks again. Great project. Brooke, I'm promoting you into a panelist right now. Yes, it should work. Okay, Brooke, can you say something? Oh, now I can hear you. Super. So we can hear you and we can't see you yet. Let's see if we can see you. Now we can see you. Super. Okay. So where are you calling from, Brooke?
I am calling from Vietnam. So I'm originally from California, but traveling right.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. Good. So you want to share a presentation with us or go freestyle?
Yep.
Okay. So there is a button somewhere, share content, share a green button. Usually it's a green with an arrow. We'll let you know when it's up.
Okay. How come it's not?
We're in Vietnam, by the way, in Ho Chi Minh City or in Hanoi or Da Nang?
Yeah, I'm in the trunk. In the
wow.
center. Yeah.
Nice. That's great. Super. I haven't been there for years. Good. We can't see your screen yet. Let me see. No, we can still not see your screen. Oh, now we can. Yeah. Wow, great graphics.
Yeah.
Okay, so go for it. Good luck.
Okay, thank you. So this is Angel Guard Fashion. We are dedicated to empowering and protecting the global community. So our value proposition is that we are working with fashion, and we are creating high-end fashion items and combining it with self-defense and tech items so that we can help to empower people and protect and offer more freedom when they're through the streets. The problem that we found is that there is an epidemic of violence. So research has found that if violence occurs every 13 days, then it becomes a norm in the communities. And after it becomes 13 days, 12 days, and then it's all the time to where it's just accepted. They say that there is no way to prevent these attacks from happening, especially when it's really random. So what we want to do is challenge the epidemic and have come up with a solution for prevention and intervention. So all of the fashion items are very wearable. It's easy access, fast to respond to where you can defend yourself. And they say that by just doing that, by being prepared for prevention and intervention, you reduce an attack by 86%. This is our first line of products. This is called the Halo line. So what we've done is we've developed a belt that's your halo, and the halo goes on our signature products. On one side of the belt is a tactical pin, and on the other side is a siren, so you can just pull it out and it alerts.
Just a second, Brooke. Actually, we can only see the beautiful screen, but it doesn't change the
It's not
presentation.
changing. No.
But this is great. It looks so good. I would stare at it for an hour. But yeah, if you want to show something, let's see if we can solve it. Can you try changing slides or resharing? Stop sharing and share again. Just in case. Yeah, let's stop sharing and share again. And we'll see if. I'll let you know if you can see the slides changing.
Okay.
Don't worry, we will not count the timer on this, so no worries. Good, we can still see the explosion, but let's see, try changing to a slide, to another slide. Let's see if we see something. Because currently we can only see this slide, it doesn't change.
It's not changing.
No, it's not. For you it is, by the way?
Yeah.
Wow, weird, okay. Can you try stop sharing and share your screen altogether? So that could be, so Lintisha is saying maybe swap to desktop. Try to share another thing like your screen or a specific application. Technical glitch probably on Zoom, but I'll let you know when we can see it. So we can stop sharing and try again.
I wonder if I can.
Worst case, you can also go freestyle.
Okay.
Like Bartel said that you can also share an application. You don't have to share your entire desktop, but if you want, you can share your desktop and then it should show everything, but try sharing something else that you haven't shared. So maybe stop sharing. And what did you click the last time? Share application or share desktop? Do you remember?
I'm doing the portion of the screen, so I'm doing
Gotcha. So maybe let's go for share desktop so you can share the entire screen and then probably it would work. I'll let you know if it does.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's try to change the slide.
Do you see it yet?
No, that's weird. It's like your screen only shows one slide. Super interesting. I don't know why. I wonder why. I guess we will have to go freestyle. So just let us know what it is and without having the slides, which is, by the way, exactly what you do on an elevator pitch. You find someone in an elevator, you cannot show them any slides. So, but keep in mind that we can't see the slides. So try to vision it for us. Okay, good luck.
Well, so I'll just pick up where I left off. I was introducing the products. And actually, if you can't see the screen, you can check out angelguardfashion.com. It's in the comments at the top, and that will give you an idea of some of the signature products that we've come out with, as well as the Halo belt. So basically the Halo belt, it has a tactical pin on one side. This is one of the easiest self-defense items where you just pull it out of the side, and if you're in danger. And then on the other side, there's a siren. So there can be intervention if somebody is attacking you. You just pull out a pin and it rings at 168 gigabytes and then alerts the neighborhood. So we're targeting ages 25 to 45, mostly women, although we plan to expand that. We've done a psychographic study on this group of individuals. They want to be free, they want to be independent and empowered and strong, but there's also a concern because of the rising amounts of violence. They don't feel safe when they go out alone. And so they're looking for solutions so that they can go out without feeling like there's a threat when there's around. We've found that there's 60% of women in the global community actually don't want to leave their homes, especially after dark, because of certain incidents that are occurring. So that's who we're targeting. We've developed a marketing sales strategy that's working from several different angles. We're going to be an e-commerce site, so everything is online, so social media, SEO, emails. We're also developing partnership programs with the media and influencers, and we have a referral program with fashionistas. So that's all going to help to drive forward the project. We have current traction. I've been working on this for about 2 years, but we officially launched the first line in August. And since then, we've been getting a lot of press coverage just for brand recognition, and so people understand the project. We've been featured as Best Innovation in Springwise and Starting Up in Germany. Where we've also connected with Hearst Publications, who's featured us in Cosmopolitan, Marie Claire, Prima, Celebs Now, and LDN Fashion. And we've also done some empowerment features with pretty progressive female founders and Selling in a Skirt. So we're gaining some good traction with our PR for sure. The team, I'm the founder and CEO. I've worked as an entrepreneur for 12 years, and this is my second business. The co-founder is actually a specialist in self-defense and security, so he helped to develop the practical applications. And then we have a product manager that's helping to set up the line for shipping. And we have a tech lead. There's going to be a second version of this that has an app. Our projection within 5 years is to be at a 6 million profit margin. So I want to actually go into a rapid growth phase, not only for the financials, but I'm also looking at doing a social impact project that actually has a return by reducing violence by 25%. So we're matching our financials with that social impact so that we can actually start to see the results that come with this product. We don't have a lot of competitors, which is one of the main advantages of this product. There's not really female-based self-defense items, and usually it goes into like cover and carry, like gun items. The two that are really competitive are Tactica and Style Me. These both have just kind of sweaters or combat boot style things, and then it's for guns specifically to where you have combative. So women that don't want to go into guns and heavy defense can actually come to Angel Guard Fashion instead. So right now, I was mentioning before, I want to go into a rapid growth phase where I want to expand the product line. We have about 9 products out right now. So I want to add in more halo belts and also expand into a fashion tech line for children. And then to do more outreach and to work more with a team to accelerate the growth phase of the project. And that's all. Thank you very much.
Nice, that's great. So I'm going to ask the obvious question: who is this for, basically?
This is for investors.
Investors. Okay, good to know. Okay, so let's turn to feedback from Ben, and then get everyone's feedback. So now it's a good chance for everyone to give us a little bit of feedback. Good. So Ben, take it away.
Okay. Yeah, excellent work there, Brooke. Achieved a lot. Rapid growth there, and yeah, I was really impressed. I think what would really help you, if you might be familiar with it, Chet Holmes and Core Story. Are you familiar with that? Mm-hmm. Well, that's a real sort of like textbook way to sell your kind of product, more from like a marketing point of view for the consumers you've got, but it would definitely work if you can, because basically it's a marketing technique you can use with, which is very similar to what you've been doing with all the stats. 86% of people, and where is it, 60% of women are under threat in the global place, in the global the globe. So what I'm saying is that if you can use that core story, get it more refined using Chet Holmes' material, the ultimate business machine, I think, or ultimate seller, and then that would really work in your favor with the investors, because it's just a really powerful technique to sell. Also, I think as well, if you could do, like I was suggesting with Bartel before, stories, like Maria from Bogota, she went out to grab a Coke one evening and she never came back, or something like that. With our product, this wouldn't have happened. But I really think, yeah, what would really help is if you emphasize, in my opinion, the traction. You know, you're getting PR, you're getting awards, and just keep hammering on the traction, because the traction was like, you only mentioned the word once, and also it was like very brief. And then you went on to the social impact and all this stuff, which is excellent. But I would imagine investors are concerned with the ROI, like what's in it for me, like I was saying before. So if you can give some stats, like we've grown at 20% for the last 2 years, we've got these awards, and we're going to enter at least 10 awards next year, and we're pretty confident we're going to get them. This is going to help significantly with our PR campaign, and we're already going to we've got an interview with Oprah Winfrey next week, you know, just all of this. I think that would really help with the traction side of things, so, which is, from my experience, what investors want to hear. So yeah, I got told last time it's only 2 minutes to give in feedback, so that's me done.
Super, thanks, Ben. Good, so we'll turn to the chat. Whatever feedback you have to Brooke for inspiring, we have high impact projects today. That's absolutely great. Really fun to see. And by the way, Brooke, you did very well without the slides, so super.
Yeah, excellent.
That was a good recovery. Good, so let's turn to the chat. Any questions about what can Brooke is going to pitch to investors. Investors are tough. What can she do to improve chances of success of raising money for this thing? Anything that comes to mind on what to improve on the pitch, on whatever, just let us know in the chat. Share your feedback. So Willie Don is asking what is the name of the project. Brooke, can you put in the chat a link to all panelists and attendees so people can check it out? Okay, so we can check out Brooke's website later. Angel Guard Fashion, pretty cool name. Good. We have a comment from Mark. Mark is saying, why is your sales revenue again so far? By the way, there is something here, Brooke, that is worth saying. Investors are currently not really anticipating you to tell them your numbers in 5 years. It used to be done a lot in business plans. Now everyone understands that you can't even project more than 2 years or even 1 year. So just by saying, usually what you should probably say is what is the size of the market, and they'll get the message from there, instead of kind of going deep into theoretical simulation of what's going to happen 5 years from now. Nobody really knows. So maybe the size of the market would have been sufficient to, instead of discounted cash flow charts and so on. So I agree that long-term seems a little bit like, in many cases, you're going to get a little bit of resistance, like Mark is saying. Great. Bartel is recommending maybe to focus and own a niche instead of having a very, very extended line of products. He's basically saying maybe we have one idea that we want to bet on, especially when we're beginning, that will kind of allow you to have a little bit more focus on what you're pitching and what the products are. So that could be a relevant feedback. Oma is a little bit curious about the kids line. what age groups are you targeting? Maybe you want to answer that, Brooke, about the kids line and the age groups.
Yep. So that's going to be teenagers, 13 to 18, the kids that want to go out, but their parents are a little bit concerned about it, and so they'll have a special angel, like it's going to be bracelets or on a backpack that is more like a tracking device. So if they're off course or if something happens to them, their parents are right there.
Excellent, that's great.
Sorry to interrupt. Can I just say that, Brooke, if you say to the investors, like, hey, we need your money because the parents of the we need your money because our current customers are asking for similar products for their children. We just don't have the capital to develop these products at the moment. But once we do get these products out, we're pretty certain that the parents or our current customers will be buying them for their own kids immediately. And then when we're going to also use the same growth path that we've used in the last 2 years of getting PR, of getting good backlinks, and getting a lot of publicity. We're going to use the exact same strategy that's worked in the past for this kids line. And this is why we will be growing this pretty much at 30% a year or something, if you want to say the stats. But yeah, at least, but I wouldn't say hype, but sort of like insider knowledge, only you can say that. And it's kind of a mini story in itself that whets their appetite. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
Super. If there are any other comments from the chat, let us know. And a few other last thing from me, Brooke, just because I have the unfortunate chance of dealing with investors a little bit. We do a lot of people that are dealing with them. On the traction side, nothing beats users. So you're going to be asked on that, and you're going to be asked on how many are using it now. So there has to be some kind, probably an MVP. Of people using this thing. If not, it's going to be extremely difficult based on an idea or a demo to raise investments. So over here, do know that the most important traction for investors is how many people are using it. One thing that has to do with Startup Link and what we talked about, the location. Vietnam is an amazing country. I love it. You cannot raise investment in Vietnam. So definitely you're going to have to go back to San Francisco. You're in the best place to raise investment. Make sure that you're raising investment in the right ecosystem. And there are only about 5 or 10 in the world that you can consider. And just a line of what you said, that we have the advantage of not having that many competitors. Try to avoid those lines as well, because investors are like, they've been there so much that they will the brain will signal immediately, no, if you don't have investors, it means that there is no market. So that's usually the biggest fear here. So I would avoid this line, because you're just going to get everyone wants to show how smart they are, so you're going to get this. So just avoid the common traps. Excellent. So Brooke, super
Can I just
awesome.
mention,
yeah?
Sorry, I'm just going to mention one last thing. Brooke, you're from the country which is the best country in the world for raising capital, right? And I'm going to be doing a similar thing next year. And to do it, I'm going to go back to England, where I'm from. And the reason is because the UK and the US and Europe is just amazing. There's capital everywhere. There's just liquidity. And I'm going to tap into that. There's no way I could have. And being a local from that area, from Manchester in my case, it's just leverage, Like an investor in Manchester, they're much more likely to invest in a northerner, myself, than, I don't know, an Ecuadorian trying to pitch them and get their money. So this is why I think, if I were in your shoes, I'd just hit Silicon Valley for 3 months. I've read I know somebody actually who did this, went to Silicon Valley, smashed it for 3 months, walked away with $400,000 just by networking and hammering and just getting in front, and did Y Combinator as well, and walked away with $400,000. So I think US is just, an amazing opportunity you've got there, and I would strongly recommend using it. Also, I try to pitch to female investors. They're much more likely to be on board with your project, rather than a bunch of males who've never encountered this problem in their life. You can get in front of some female investors. Boom. That's me.
Excellent. Good. Thanks, man. Good. So, Brooke, wish you a lot of good luck, and come back to update us one day on how it goes.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you so much. Appreciate it from
Super.
everyone. Very helpful.
Good luck.
Good luck, Brooke.
Great. So we're now moving on. Wow, we're really, really late. So Jeremy, you're gonna have to be super fast. I know it's your first presentation, so we're gonna do our best to. I'm gonna promote you into a panelist. Jeremy, unfortunately, we're gonna have really low amount of time for you, so try to make it as short as possible. And let's see if it works. So we can't. Now we can hear you.
Hear me?
I think. Yeah, we can. Super.
And you
we
can hear
see
me
you as
clearly?
well. Yeah. Where are you from?
From New Jersey in the United States.
Amazing. Wow. Okay, so go for it. You have a presentation you want to share with us?
Yes, I'm just trying to figure out how to share my screen with you.
There is a share screen button.
Got it.
Actually, take your time. If someone has to go, they will go. I have a feeling this would be an interesting presentation. So yeah, let me just confirm to you that I can see your screen. Just a minute. When you
Can you
switch,
see my screen?
I can see your Zoom screen.
Perfect.
Good. So,
And right now you should see a website.
amazing. Looks like Reddit. Super. Okay, go for it. Good luck.
Okay. So my name is Jeremy. I am the founder of a website called whatforwork.com. In a nutshell, it is a library of job descriptions that are actually written by the people who do them. So just to give you a little bit of background, about 6 months ago or 8 months ago approximately, I was having one of those days where I was saying to myself, what else could I do if I didn't want to do what I do right now for a living? So I go online, and I have a degree and experience in finance, and I'm just Googling, what can you do with a finance degree? And eventually found myself at a website reading job descriptions for financial analysts and controllers and other types of financial type degrees. And if you read the job description, it says something that looks like it was pulled directly out of a textbook. And I'm sure it's explanatory and it's true, but it doesn't really help me to understand what the job is like. And I said to myself, I wonder if anybody else is having this problem. So on a whim, I said, I'll create a library of job descriptions and put it out there and see if other people find benefit from these job descriptions that are actually descriptive from a interview perspective. And I'll give you some clarity on what I mean by that. So if you go to the most popular site on the internet in the States for job descriptions, you'll see I have one pulled up for a company called BLS.gov, which is the government website. Basically, all the job descriptions and all the job description websites on the internet pull directly from the BLS.gov site because it's basically from the Department of Labor. So if you were saying, I want to be a veterinarian one day, and you went to this job description and it said veterinarians care for the health of animals and work to protect public health, I'm sure that that is true, that that's what they do. But if I was trying to say, does being a veterinarian fit with what I want to be, this doesn't help me answer that question, especially if I'm a high school student trying to evaluate what my options are. So the alternative, which I created, is my site, whatforwork.com. And here's my job description for a veterinarian. And essentially, you can see I've got 851 job descriptions on the site. And if you just type veterinarian into the search box, pull up the first one. Essentially what I did was I interviewed, at this point, roughly 900 people in different industries and asked them 6 questions about what they do for a living. So the first of the 6 questions is, what do people think you do? And this is basically an opportunity for them to clarify some of the misconceptions people have about a profession, because most of the time what people think something is quite different from what it actually is. And then the next question is, what do you really do? Which is the other side of the coin. They told you what it's not, now they'll tell you what it actually is. And this is coming directly from the word of mouth, directly from the person who does the job for a living. So this is straight from a veterinarian typed this up. The next one's a day in the life, where they literally walk you through what it's like to do what they do for a living, which is one of the most human and immersive descriptions that people need, that they can't get from the typical job descriptions they find on the internet. The next question is, what's the average income? And then what education is needed? It's useful if someone says you need a doctorate, but it's much more helpful for people to tell you what it's like to actually go to school, what sort of continuing education is required, what sort of credits you need, how long it takes. Gives a lot more context. And then lastly, what's something important to know? And this is just basically, after working in a career for 10 or 15 years, you say to yourself, what do I wish I knew before I got into this? And this is an opportunity for people who are in that position to share it with people who are thinking about getting into it. And basically, I have a whole, if I can scroll up here, I can't scroll up. I'm gonna do it like this. Sorry, my keys aren't working. But you can see that I have a whole library sorted alphabetically. These are all the A's. At the bottom, you can see there, here's all the B's. And you can sort the entire library by level of education required. This is obviously different for the UK than it is for the US, but this is how it works in the US at least. You can sort by industry, and you can sort by a particular college degree, and it'll sort all the job descriptions that we have. If you know something specific that you want to do, you can type it into the search box. And if you have no idea, there's a random job button in the upper right-hand corner here that you can click, and it'll bring you to a random job description on the page. So this entire pitch, I should have said this at the beginning, this entire pitch is not to investors, but to the users, which for me are the guidance counselors inside high school systems that are trying to help their students figure out what career path they want to use, because they're up against the same thing as I was, and as anybody is who's trying to evaluate their options. They know only a limited amount of things, and the job descriptions that they have available to them don't really paint a picture. And basically there's a dashboard at the back end of this that allows the guidance counselors to interact with the students, and I charge the schools in order to sign up and get access to the dashboard. And that's it.
Cool, super cool. Thanks, Jeremy, for that one. Great.
This is my MVP at the moment. I'm piloting next week in half a dozen schools.
Excellent, that's great. Good, let's get a little bit of feedback from people. I know that we don't have a lot of time, so we're not going to give you feedback personally, but people in the chat, let's try to give Jeremy as many notes as possible so you can actually, let's say, plan for version 2 that is even better than this one. So let's have a little bit of a look on what do we have on the chat. I know Ben had to leave at 8, so I'm gonna read it out. Okay, so let's see what we've got. Viti is asking, are those content about job description, are they updated every time it's getting old? Or how do you make this fresh? So we don't have time to answer this now, Jeremy, but this is maybe something that you kind of want to mention in the presentation when you do that on your mechanism of updating things. So just as a side note. Ruth is saying that this is really interesting, and if you can share the website on the chat, that would be great so people can check it out.
Sure.
Bartel is asking, how much will the school pay for this? What's your plan on monetization here, and what's the... So do you have an estimate for the money here, or who's going to pay how much? The school?
Sure, I can answer the question, sure.
Yeah.
Do you want me to answer now, or do you want me just to think
yeah,
about
you
these
know
things?
what, I'm also so intrigued that even though we were a little bit late, it's interesting to hear.
Sure, I had considered doing it by student, but at this point, I just want to get it into the market. So I'm thinking we'll do $100 a month for the entire school to have access. So if somebody has 1,000 students, it comes out to be basically a quarter a student for the year, or $1,000 for the year if you want to sign up all at once.
Okay, good. Ruth is asking if there is anything that you're doing to make sure that the data that you have there is accurate. Although you're taking it from validated people, right? But
everybody who writes this job description submits a resume to me first to verify that they've been in the industry.
Excellent, that's great. Yeah, and Lintia is recommending maybe to start with a question so you don't have to say who is the audience of the presentation is. Yeah, Sandeep is also recommending to consider a pay as a use model. So the more people are using, the more you can kind of charge them. Looks absolutely great. So definitely a good start. And yeah, if you can share the link in the we have the link. I see that. If you can share again, Jeremy, the link in the chat, that would be absolutely great.
I'd be happy to.
Super. So we'd love to have a look at it later on. And that's basically it. So yeah, Jeremy, great. Seems like a really useful and inspiring product. So congrats, and come back in maybe a month, 2 months, and let us know how you advance. That would be great.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so that was really good batch of presentations today. I want to thank everyone for participating, for being with us. And yeah, see you in the next pitching events. Absolutely great hearing about your startups, about what the things that you're building even without investors. It's inspiring. So keep on changing the world, and see you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.